You're Near the Wild with Matt Becker and John Norris, recorded in Anchorage, Alaska. Okay, now I have hit record. Hey!
I'm sorry, no laptops at the table, sir.
It's John Norris and Matt Becker.
Everybody who just joined us missed a good 10 minutes of awesome conversation.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that was just like getting you comfortable in the room. I mean, you just got there. And...
It's like showing up late to Kenny G.
That was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to nail that thing before you know
Becker,
it.
you've already mastered it.
Oh, yes. And by the way, Greg, thank you very much. The fucking baby head was hysterical. Oh, my God. That was funny.
It's always nice to come home to a big fat baby head in your bed.
It is. It's like a creepy Charlie Brown if he was really sad.
Crying, yeah, the whole time. Yeah, that's good. So, John, I hate to rehash any of this, so we'll just continue on. You are headed to Vegas, right?
Yeah, I'm going to Vegas on Sunday nights. Get in Monday morning, so I get to live the Vegas life for a couple of days.
What time do you get in?
We get in early. We get in like 10 in the morning
See,
on Monday.
Okay, 10's not horrible, but you can't check in your room till 2. You know that, right?
Yeah. So we'll just, you can drop your bags off. They're usually pretty good about, throwing your shit
holding
in.
your stuff while you go drop some money. They can rifle through your luggage. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Make sure you do it at the right hotel that you're actually staying at, though. They'll always take your bags, but they won't always come back. We don't know you.
And you're staying at that wonderful modern day pyramid, the Luxor.
Staying at the Luxor. We love history. So, big fans of Egyptian history. I guess it was just the cheapest. I've almost lost a mic.
I guarantee you it was the cheapest. Either that one or what was that other one, Becker? The Egyptian motif. Not the Egyptian motif. Yeah, I think the Aladdin.
The Aladdin. That's Middle East. That's Middle Eastern. Greg.
Middle Eastern. I'm sorry.
Come on.
Yeah, they had really cheap rooms one year when we were out there. Our buddy Duran was like, "There's $13 rooms." It's like, hey, can we spring for maybe a $18 room? Do we have to go the cheapest?
They had pay elevators. That's how they got.
That's why there's no fat people staying at that hotel.
Yeah.
I like to buy things and then read the reviews after I've already spent the non-refundable money.
Oh, that's one way.
I read all the reviews of the Luxor. They're not terrible reviews. Everybody's like, it's a place to keep your shit.
No.
And
no, the first rule of Vegas is if you're going down there to get a room, buy a house. Just spend it on a room. The whole point is you're going to be out doing stuff until you completely are ready to drop. You don't even go in your room. You don't hang out.
But the pools they have a great pool area, and the pools open up. Maybe I think they open up today. And being Alaskans, me and my girlfriend are like super excited to go to the pool, and then we're now realizing that it's still only going to be like 65 degrees when we're there. But we don't care. We're going to the pool.
No, and
absolutely.
And the other thing is the wheel. You got to go on the wheel.
What's the wheel?
The wheel is the big Ferris wheel, but you're getting on the booze car. Yeah, and it's 45 minutes of free drinks all the way around. You just look at the city and you stand there going, "This is amazing."
Wait, there's Ferris wheel
with a booze car.
Yeah, with a booze car.
All right, I like carnival rides and booze.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was a good.
Yeah, other than that, we don't really have any plans. We're not gamblers. We're mostly just we just like looking at people and judging people and drinking. That's kind of what we do.
That's as good a sport as any on vacation.
And then I'm going to give you a listing of all the things you should do. Like Binion's, you go downtown. They have a comp book you get. You'll get a free spin on the big wheel.
All right.
You get all this, and you also get a free picture with $1 million in cash.
That's pretty good.
Oh, and that's where we were at a couple months ago when we went and Doug Becker opened the show, and Doug did a show at the Riviera. Was it Riviera? Where the fuck was it?
No, it was at the what was it? Plaza.
Plaza. Riviera is the old comedy club down there. The Plaza, and then Binion's is in that area, I believe, because I remember seeing the plexiglass $1 million.
Are you allowed to touch the $1 million?
No.
Yes, you're allowed to.
It's under glass, dude.
Not if you do it the way I'm going to teach you. I'm going to have them do what I did. It's the funniest thing in the world. It's good.
So
There's
what
a
do
way
you
to get
do?
money out of the $1 million.
How do you get the money out of there?
I can't tell you on
All
air,
right.
but we will tell you. And they take a picture of you while you're doing it. You're like, hey.
Perfect. But it'll be nice to get out. I've been in Anchorage for too long, so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to leave Anchorage. It's such a wonderful place, but
Yeah.
it'll be nice to not be here.
Have things changed dramatically, Becker, since you've been back? Have you noticed any crazy change?
I thought it was really foggy when I first landed, but it turns out that's just the smell of weed in the air. It's just everywhere. I mean, it's the moose are eating just for no reason at all now.
Yeah.
I ran to the grocery store. I got off work late a couple nights ago and went to the grocery store, and I noticed a huge increase in people walking around in pajama pants shopping for candy. That's pretty much the only impact I've seen from legalization, though.
Well, there's been no crime since I got back, so
Oh,
I
yes.
didn't want to predict it, but I said I knew that once I got back, the city would calm and everything's good again.
They just needed their favorite bartender back.
That's it.
So we've got a Stanhope Unbookables alumni heading out to Coots next week. Brett Erickson starts on Tuesday.
That is correct. That's going to be great. I was so worried it was like the week I got back. I was like, oh, shit. I got in last night. I'm like, oh, fuck, do I have to go to the club? And I was like, oh, Brett's next week. I go, oh, good. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I get back. I think I get back Thursday night, so I'm going to be able to catch him while he's here too. So
Yeah, you guys should do a podcast with him. Just do one over there in the bus.
Yep.
And then send it to me, and we'll put it out. But yeah, he's getting ready to do a podcast with Doug's manager Brian Hannigan, because they live in the same apartment complex down in LA now. And yeah, you can talk to him about that, and just his times out here. We had a very drunken 3 months.
That's great, though. And yeah, and the other thing, when he's up here, we can take him out to maybe the wildlife center. Has he been up?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I just realized this beer I'm drinking has a speed hole.
I can't believe you're dilly-dallying with that thing.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Got it.
There. He got it. Yeah. He's gonna.
Oh, is it the Miller where you pop it?
Yeah, where you pop the little
Yeah.
side thing there. Yeah, and then right next to it says drink responsibly.
Yeah, drink
Finally, get
responsibly.
some air pressure in this thing. I wanted to shoot the booze straight into my mouth. I don't know why I'm drinking like just old fashioned. There we go.
Yeah, they don't have that in Costa Rica. You know what they have instead? They have 6.0 beer.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you just go, well, I would really not need another
What kind of
hole.
beer? What kind of beer is it?
Pilsen.
Is 6.0?
Yeah.
6.0?
Yeah. That's your shirt.
This is my shirt.
That's your shirt.
No.
He's a Pilsen man.
I love it. First and only podcast sponsored by Pilsen.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, just so you know, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, I think. I can't remember. It's all blurring together. I'm in the middle of this tin can rehab with Doug, where he's gone down to 2 drinks a night and no smoking. And I've had no problem with the no smoking, being a non-smoker myself. I've had no cravings for the cigarettes, but I have gone over the 2 drinks a night. And
Yeah. He's driving you to drink.
Oh, yeah. And I've decided now that I'm going to brew my own beer for the last week of the tin can rehab.
So it should be ready like in 6 weeks.
No, it only takes 7 days, and it's not gonna taste good.
What are you at Folsom Prison?
It takes 7 days, and if I wait longer, though, it'll get more flavor. But really, all we're doing is making sure we don't go blind drinking this. So we'll see.
What kind of beer are you making?
It's a Mexican beer. Turns out that's the starter kit. Mexican beer. That's the lowest one to hit.
Senor Cerveza? What is it called?
I don't know yet. The kit is gonna. By the time I get done with the podcast today, I'll run out there and UPS will have showed up.
All right.
Wow. So it's basically you throw a few habaneros and a couple fake IDs in there and just let it mix.
That is as good as any other recipe.
How much are you making? How many gallons does it make?
Well, I did a little research, and it's better to go slow and to do 1 gallon at a time than to invest the extra money in the equipment and just the time it takes to boil, to get that 5 gallons boiling and to work all the ingredients. For someone who's just starting out and it's going to taste like shit anyway until you figure out what you're doing, why do 5 gallons at a time when you can do a gallon at a time?
I had the same, I went through the same process and made a gallon of beer. It makes about the equivalent of a 7-pack of beer.
Yeah.
So it's not going to quench your thirst at all if your 2-drink minimum is not working out for you.
No, that's fine. We've got plenty of other booze here. We've been doing a lot of old-fashioned type of drinks, old-timey drinks,
like gin, straight gin.
Yeah, I got to tell you, we've if you've been listening to the podcast, the Doug Stanhope podcast, it's Tin Can Rehab, and we're on every day. We've been doing it 16 days. Well, today will be the 16th day in a row, and we have different drinks every night. And head over there, and we tell you what we're drinking. And one of the biggest surprises was the gin fizz, delicious.
The slow gin fizz?
No, just
a gin fizz.
Yeah.
Is that like a gin Ricky?
I don't know what the Ricky part is, but the
Drambuie, of course.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, talking to the bartender, he'd know. The gin fizz with the lemon juice is so delicious. The lemon is a really good complement to the gin. So much so, we've done a couple of gin citrusy drinks. So it's way far away from the every night pedestrian 6-pack of Miller Lite.
In Britain, they use lemon in their gin and tonics instead of lime.
Okay.
But they also still have a king and a queen, so I don't know.
Somehow I thought I missed something. I thought the king and queen had something to do with the drink.
Nope.
Yeah. No, but I mean, just the idea that Britain can get lemons
yeah.
is amazing.
They still own parts of India, I think. Maybe they get the lemons from there.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So I'll let you guys know how the beer goes, because we talked about that a couple podcasts ago.
Mm-hmm.
Was what you can actually do legally, because we were talking about
right
legalization of marijuana, and then people actually starting to distill their own vodkas.
Well, do you remember the other thing is that they've just breached on it, but the guys that came up with the powdered alcohol,
yeah, I don't know what that is.
It was amazing. I mean,
it's gross. It's disgusting.
Okay, it's gross, it's disgusting, but it literally is powder. You add water and you have actual high-proof alcohol.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Well, it's not, because they're losing their minds now, because they're going, you can't have this.
Like, I'm not going to... I guess I could see if you're snorting it could be a problem.
No, and that's what they said. They go, what if people snort? What if they take it like in powder form and drink water on it? They go, you had no idea the regulation of what you took.
Who uses alcohol irresponsibly? Matt, I'm sure it's fine.
Hey, it's safer than injecting weed.
Now that weed is legalized in Alaska, the huge debate is whether or not people can make like hash oil and like all the other stuff. And I think that's exactly why I don't smoke weed. It's too much work. There's too much extraction of oils. Because once you do it one way, everyone tries to get you to, build a bong out of stuff and use some oils and heat up some knives on a burner. And
yeah, no, when you read about it, yeah, you're like going, this is a lot of work.
Yeah. I
mean, this is more than twice baked potatoes. This is a lot of work.
Way more work than just opening this speed hole in this Miller Lite can.
Yeah. See how that works? Big alcohol is making sure they get it into you. The delivery system is quicker and quicker.
Yeah, but this weed thing has been just hysterical to watch, especially as an outsider in Costa Rica. They're just this is like when Ted Stevens said it's the internet. It's a series of tubes. You've got the people deciding the marijuana laws, or all these people going, oh, we don't reefer madness hitting the city. That could cause a lot of crime and trouble.
Yeah, they were the producers of Reefer Madness back in the 50s.
I bet the state legislature is probably sitting in a boardroom right now, all watching like episodes of Adventure Time on Adult Swim, just trying to get a handle on this pop culture.
Yeah, and the best was all the older ones have all said the same thing. They said, well, this is really new to a lot of us. I go, a lot of you? What do you mean new to you? You were here when Tesla was alive. How is this new to you?
Back in my day, we were sniffing ether, sure, but that was a safe alternative.
Yeah, cocaine was actually for a cold.
Well, I did notice conspicuously absent from the ADN today, the Anchorage Dispatch News online version, anything with the police chief talking about marijuana and restricting people possessing or displaying or transport. It just seemed like there was a spat of every day there were a couple articles regarding.
This must be the first day that they do not have a front page story about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a picture of the mural artist Ziggy smoking pot downtown. He somehow became the face of. They were like, Charlotte Green is out, Ziggy is in.
That's great though, because I can relate to a cancer-ridden guy smoking pot.
Who's Ziggy?
All those murals downtown in downtown Anchorage.
Okay.
That with I don't want to pass judgment, but they're misproportioned ladies and walruses.
Okay.
But they're nice. I'm not going to say they're bad murals. I can't paint a mural. Maybe I could.
Well,
but,
it sounds like you don't think he can either.
He's basically the official muralist of Anchorage. Nobody really gave him that title. I think it's self-appointed, but
he was willing to go out there in this weather.
Sure. Now he's the face of the marijuana movement.
Well, I'll have to look for that. I don't know who this person is, but I'm sure I'll recognize one of his misproportioned walrus ladies.
Yeah.
And another thing we had brought up that John had mentioned was, remember they do the Iditarod thing, but they also have the guys do the bikes?
Yeah.
Did you see what happened today?
Correction corner. I believe in the podcast where we talked about that, I said they go from Anchorage to Nome in 5 days. That is not true. That is clearly not true.
No, but
they do. They go from the Iditarod Trail Invitational, where they bike or run or ski either from Anchorage to McGrath, which is 350 miles, or Anchorage all the way to Nome, which is 1,000 miles and some change. And a guy on a bike made it 350 miles in less than 2 days. So he's a beast. I mean, it's an impressive physical feat.
1 day, 18 hours, 32 minutes.
Yeah. And the running and the guy we interviewed David Johnson, who for my work, who he broke the record last year. He ran from Anchorage to McGrath 350 miles in just under 5 days.
He ran it?
Yeah. And so we were trying to do the math on how much running that is.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, we figured he had to be physically moving himself for 23 hours a day for 5 days to be able to make it.
On an average, but it obviously wasn't going 23 hours a day.
Well,
he was kicking some ass.
Somehow it's, running more than a marathon, 5 days in a row.
Yeah. It's fucking insane.
The race is still going. I think they just left on Sunday.
Now, are we talking about the dogs?
No, the dogs start next Monday.
So who just started? The runners?
Yeah, the runners and bikers.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but the bikers, I'm trying to find it now, but the biker one, they broke the record this year.
Yeah, he just broke for under, what did you just say, Greg?
1 day, 18 hours, and 32 minutes.
Yeah, but his name's Lackey, which is funny because the other guy was Mac. But yeah, he broke it. He broke his old record from last year by 14 hours, which is unheard of.
And I heard an interview with him, and he said that it was like the best conditions you could ever possibly hope for. He had a tailwind pushing him, and he had nothing but like clear ice to ride on the entire way.
Yeah,
So
but
it's-
just the idea, if you really do with Obamacare, if you need serum to Nome, a big fat tired bike guy is the guy to go with.
Yeah, when you see the fat tires.
And of course, he used the FedEx trick of only right turns, so that they leave out, of course.
And so the actual Iditarod race starts Monday in Fairbanks, and they had to move it again because they were going to start on a frozen river in Fairbanks, but now the river is not frozen enough. So we're running out of places to move this race.
This is very close to Armageddon, is what people aren't getting. The fact that Alaska is literally melting. And I understand the East Coast. They're like, oh, this is miserable. I go, yeah, we understand. We get it. But
if it gets any warmer, they're just going to have to move the start and the finish to the race in Nome and just go around the track at the high school.
Actually, technically, if it gets any warmer, they're going to have to move Florida.
Are you doing any articles on these crazy marathoners?
We're doing a video on David Johnson, the runner who broke the record to McGrath last year. The guy who I just was talking about, and it was interesting. It's basically his ritual before the race is to drink a Budweiser, and then he drinks another Budweiser during the race, and then another when he finishes. So I think he's really trying to get the sponsorship, trying to get the king of beers on his side. And other than that, he seems like a really normal dude who doesn't mind nearly killing himself to run 350 miles. And apparently when you are running that much, when you stop, your body swells up. So there's really even stopping is not good. There's no win.
I'm just trying to think of what the whole thing with the beer is.
I don't know either. That was his...
Well, he makes it himself. It takes about 7 days. It's just about half the time it takes to race.
I mean, I just try and floss my teeth every day, and I just can't. I can't. It's hard to remember to do that, to push myself. You know,
It's a struggle.
it's a struggle. It's a cross that I have to bear, and I will. But we all have our own limits.
Forget to floss. A couple months, you finally floss. Feels like somebody punched you in the mouth. It's
Maybe you could combine toothpaste in your beer.
oh.
Well,
You
you know,
just-
maybe I need some kind of a motivation. Like he goes halfway to Nome and gets a Budweiser. Maybe I've got to motivate myself.
You should just drop a shot of Listerine in your beer.
Well, I was thinking the other way, like vodka flavored dental floss.
Or, yeah. Or fluoride in the scotch.
So I don't know. I'm impressed by these runners that are doing this more so than the guy being dragged by a bunch of dogs. But I guess that's cool too.
Yeah, it seems they're getting less and less publicity on all this shit.
Yeah. You know what I've compared it to? On the way home, I was reading this because I'd read the article then. This is starting to seem like, remember, boxing was huge growing up. I mean, they shoved it down our throat. Mike Tyson and everything.
Well, that was
No,
Tyson Holyfield was when I was in high school. And
Right.
yeah, it couldn't get bigger than that.
Right. And now they got AFC where they guys just pummel each other. And they, so I'm thinking this could end up killing the Iditarod. Iditarod could end up like boxing. Go, yeah, get the dog thing done so we can watch these guys. And the guys on the bikes, they go first.
Yeah.
They don't go, because you wouldn't want to go after all those dog shit on the trail. I mean,
You don't want that.
that would cut your time.
Dogs go last. Well, in boxing, I guess Pacquiao is taking this fight that's coming up. And I don't really know anything about boxing because I tuned out of it a long time ago. It was exciting when you had someone like Mike Tyson. But they've been trying to get this fight with Manny Pacquiao, and I don't know who the other guy is.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
I think it is Mayweather, and I think Pacquiao is having to move up in weight class, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that is going to be an insane payday. So it's not like boxing's gone away.
No, but
But-
this is the thing, is you just summed it up, Greg. This is the fight. They go, this is the one we wanted.
Yeah,
This is the only one they got.
I think
what
it's
are the
taken them.
You name one person in any of the under tickets they're going to show you that night.
Yeah.
Name one person. Say something Spanish. You might have it.
Well, it's taken years and years to even get them to discuss this fight. So
they're like the only two fighters that are getting these paydays, though.
yes.
Like not even mentioning the undercards on that fight. Name two other big name boxers right now.
Well, I obviously can't. I already tapped out on this.
You can't.
That's right. I'm not. But, yeah, with someone with maybe a very pedestrian knowledge of boxing would probably be able to come up with a name, but I cannot. Correct.
I guess we don't need boxing anymore. We have UFC. It's just taken over.
No, and that's what I'm worried about now with the Iditarod and the fact that we don't have snow anymore.
Yeah.
You think the runners are going to take over the for the dogs? They're going to be like, why are we feeding all these dogs?
No, I mean, how do you justify it? If it's quicker to go the other way, you go, well, I mean, we like speed. This country loves speed.
We also love dogs, though. I don't know.
We love dogs, but I mean, it's like protection around the home, not necessarily going to Nome.
Yeah, like whipping them to get to Nome quicker.
Well, I was actually just doing some research on the history of the Iditarod, and when the modern race started in 1973, it was a way to save the sport because it was in decline. And
Becker's right. Becker's right.
Because the original race or the original serum run where they had Balto rescuing people, I think we already talked about this, where that was like a relay basically. Like none of the dog teams went over 100 miles.
Yeah.
And so then they invented the Iditarod race, which is over 1,000 miles, and in the 70s, and nobody. I don't have any friends that dog sled.
No, we have friends down the street here that have it.
Oh,
we're the original housing development. So 1952, this was developed. First housing development in Anchorage, where we're at. In our lease, or not lease, deed,
mm-hmm.
we are allowed and we are zoned in this area to have a dog sled team. And up to 14 dogs.
What are you waiting for?
And we're also allowed to have a commercial garden.
Oh.
So another greenhouse.
A grow operation.
Up to
what they're called nowadays.
Half of our property size. And that's in our deed from the state of Alaska.
And that's all the houses here.
So I'm thinking, when I get my trained pit bull team, to protect my grow operation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's a racing kennel.
But we're not going to Nome. No, hell no.
They're staying here. I got it. They need to stay here and watch.
But yeah, that was it. When I read our deed, it was amazing to read the deed because it had all the old rules. We in order to have up to 14 dogs on the property though, it was a mandatory that we had 2 working sleds on the property. In other words, that could be used.
That could be hitched up at any time.
Yeah, you couldn't have one just nailed on the side of the shed.
Well, you could use those to block off the dog fighting ring so they don't get out.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. But that's amazing. I mean, that's the weird thing about Alaska. It has such a short timeline that this is a state that has grown up slower than the marijuana laws.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What does it say about a bus in your backyard?
I'm allowed to have it as long as it.
As long as no one knows it's there.
No,
it's for training the dogs. It's you hook the dogs up to the bus and let them drag it.
Like the sleds for football players when they.
As long as it's not on the easement, you have to stay off the easements is all, and I'm good.
What's an easement?
Easement is a 5-foot utility clearance on each side of your house.
Okay. That
will say like the front of it has a 5-foot easement, and then both sides do. But luckily, your yard's big enough that. I literally, when we put that bus there, because remember it was an ordeal to put it in there.
Oh yeah.
I literally marked it. We are staying 6 feet away from that side, that easement, even though it's 2.5 feet on each side of the property line. I said no, we're staying 6 feet away. I am not moving this bus.
Hey, do you ever fire that bus up?
Mm-hmm.
So the engine's still good?
Twice a year. We might do it when I have to do it. And being the weather's so nice, Becky has that midget in the backyard, and I literally am ready to get it ready.
That's a type of car.
Yeah, the car, right?
It was from the 70s. It's when you could call them midgets. They were midgets. Because you know why? The only person who can drive it is what? A little person, right? Am I wrong here? I'm not.
The housing rules here are so much more liberal than my condo association. We can't there's rules like you can't have the hood up on your car for more than 20 minutes or it's going to get towed.
What?
Wow.
That might be.
No, but
They are serious. There are a lot of rules. Buy an old house, not a condo.
yeah, no, but this is for us it's fantastic. I mean, we've talked about adding a second floor, and then Becky goes, "We just get more crap." And I go, "Oh, you got a good point there." So we're not doing that.
Yeah, you got a second floor. It's in Costa Rica on the ground floor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, this year's trip to Costa Rica was just fantastic. I mean, I honestly, I don't think I could ever had a better trip.
Now, you've been back for just over 24 hours, right?
Yeah, a little under 24. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
Sand is still falling out of his the cuffs and his jeans.
I did. It is funny when you do that because you take off, and if you book it right and the airlines work with you at all, you end up going from having breakfast. I mean, I left at 1 PM. I'm home by 2 AM here, so I get home at 2, and I'm like, all right, I'm now in Alaska, and I'm just sitting there going, it was so mild when I got here, it wasn't a big deal. I mean,
it's like 40 degrees today.
Yeah,
and it's supposed to be this warm for the rest of the week.
And there is snow on the ground. I was told there was no snow, but there is snow, but it's literally like, this is breakup. I mean, this is what April's normally like.
They also had snow on the ground in Huntington Beach, California at the pier.
Really?
Yeah.
How great is that?
Should move the Iditarod race down.
Yeah, they should. That's actually going to be the new start for the Iditarod is Huntington Beach Pier, just south side of the pier.
Perfect.
Wow. I mean, and I will tell you this, from Costa Rica, Steve, who is the man who got me the helium tank.
Yeah.
So I could do the overhead pictures with the GoPro.
Oh, did you do that with the GoPro?
I did not, because between him working, because he works all over the state doing landscaping stuff, he got it to me in a timely fashion. But the only thing was, the wind was so high.
Yeah.
During in other words, it would just start and it would be calm for 2 hours and then would pick up again. I wasn't about to put my GoPro on a balloon and have it blow.
Yeah. You scrubbed the mission due to atmospherics.
Yeah. So I just said, I'm going to wait until next year. I got the tank now. I'm good. But I'm going to definitely do it for the human foosball. We're doing it in the parking lot. So I'm going to get it rigged up for that. So. Yeah,
human foosball at Chilkoot Charlie's. The next one is on March 7th. Yep. And they need some help with some better pictures.
Yeah, I know.
Their Facebook, they just don't.
It's. I don't think it quite captures it.
Well, you could go on the roof, and the part of that the front of Coots is a facade, so it's a flat roof. And you could get up there and shoot down and just do a Vine video for 6 seconds to promote that would be awesome.
Right. And I'm going to do it with I think, because I have the balloon thing, but even if the wind's going, exactly right, I'm going to have a pole and go over top and actually GoPro it from above.
Yeah.
So you can watch it. And then we can bet on the game before it's released to the public. There's another version.
Betting is open.
John's in Vegas betting on human foosball in Alaska.
Oh man, I got $200 on the AK Comics human foosball team.
200 to win?
Sure.
Wow. Who's in it?
I'm betting just to show.
Just to show up.
Yeah.
Just to show up.
I know who the goalie's going to be.
Trying to think who would be our goalie.
Matt Collins.
Matt Collins.
I don't know about his reflexes.
Nah, just stand there.
There'd be at least one open corner.
Hey, Becker, I don't know if you saw this before you went to Costa Rica, but now that you're back in town, you might check it out. But John, maybe you can help me understand what's going on with that kid Quentin. He does a podcast with Matt Collins and Matt Burgoon.
And Matt Burgoon, they have the Questions of Quentin podcast where they have Quentin Johnson is, I think he's still 20 years old. He's a nice kid, I guess.
Well, I guess people could go look. I'll put a link up for the podcast.
It's very funny, and they try basically two guys, Matt Collins and Matt Burgoon, are trying to teach a young adult how to be a man. Neither one of them, I don't know if they're qualified to
Yeah,
teach.
who's teaching them?
But they bring in guests, and they try to teach. They all learn. It's a learning experience for everybody. I don't know if I'm selling this right.
No,
basically,
you gave a good description of what the podcast is. But my question is Quentin is now. I've seen Facebook pictures of him up on stage at Coots. Is he actually doing some open mic?
Yeah, he's been doing comedy. He loves comedy. He's been working his open mic, and he actually started his own show at the Snow Goose, which is good for him. But he shows up at the Coots open mic now, and I think he's still 20 because his mom comes with him.
Yeah,
excellent.
So that's always fun.
When they first started it, I literally thought it was like a Phil Hendry, in which like Matt Bragoon or somebody was pretending to be him. And when I actually met him, I was like confounded. Like it was like
he's a real person.
You ruined the whole joke. He really exists.
Yeah.
John, you want to say something, but you're holding back. So
okay, I don't want to say he's like the dumbest kid I've ever met.
Okay,
but he's not bright, and every time you try to give him the benefit of the doubt, he'll tell you a story about how he was like trying to put on a sports jacket in his car and slammed into somebody in front of him, and he was like, "Why?" And then I don't know. You have to really meet him to experience him.
I think I feel like I've met him. I've heard one podcast, and I've met that kind of person though.
It's not an act.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and that's why I thought he was a fake person, because I go, this is really funny because he's not real. And then when you actually introduced me to him, I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is like, now it's not. It's kind of sad.
It's kind of scary. It's like, this is a real person.
Yeah.
This person is able to survive?
It was funny until, and then their guidance has been nothing but great for them.
Yeah, obviously. But it is nice sometimes to like meet a person like Quentin and then just be like, you know what, life isn't that hard. You know?
You know what? That's a good example, John. If you listen to Quentin and you realize if you're going, I can't hold a job, I can't do that, go, you are screwing up massively.
Yeah,
You need to smoke more weed, dude. Because you are overthinking it.
Just got to relax. Just let it happen.
Well, my original question was to find out about the open mic as Quentin's participation in the open mic, and now this has led into a link to questions for Quentin, or is that what it's?
Questions with Quentin, which
with Quentin.
Okay.
It's on a limited run because Quentin has stated publicly many times. I don't know if this will happen or not, but he's moving to Phoenix in July.
Okay. So
I guess the host of the show will have to find another Quentin.
Well, do not explain how Skype works to him.
Well, no, this is, you've met Quentin. You know that that won't work. So
I forgot my password again.
So I've suggested they just find another Quentin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and put a link up to that and give a little cross promotion to our buddies Matt Collins and Matt Begin.
And also the cross promotion for Doug's Tin Can Rehab. That has been. I was in Costa Rica and God love it. I mean, every day I was excited to see it, but you realize I'm on a 2-hour time difference in Costa Rica than you are in Bisbee. So I would be like doing stuff in the morning going, all right, you know what? I just want my fix of fucking Tin Can Rehab. I'll be good. But by the 5 o'clock in the afternoon when it finally would come out, and nothing, I mean, that's just the way it is. But I would like always think, somehow I thought it would come out in the morning. That would be actually about 3 in the morning in Bisbee.
The first 7 or 8 episodes we were finishing, and I was going right back down to the house. I got a little room I do the production in. And I'd have my cocktails and we'd be talking and we'd be doing things during the day. And I would finish the podcast, like editing at 3 or 4 in the morning. And then I would go to sleep, and I kind of get up at the same time every day anyway. So even if I go to bed at 4 in the morning, I still get up at like 8:39. And after 8 days of that, I was like, Jesus, I just can't keep that schedule. So I said, I'll put it out every day, but I'll put it out so that I get some sleep and I get some other shit done. And then that doesn't even pull into like the instances where Doug calls me up at 10 and goes, "Hey, you want to go to do this?" And I'm like, "Of course, we got to go. We need, we got every day we're trying to find things to do. And, I want to be there too because we're going to talk about it on the air and stuff like that." So yeah, those first 8 days, it was grueling. And, like today, the one we just put out about Bisbee baseball, that went out at like 2 hours before this podcast. So it wasn't bad, but yeah, I wish I could do it at the same time, but having that schedule every day. And
so how long are you on the schedule?
Well, I leave for St. Louis on the 15th or the 14th of March. So I've got just over a week left. And then Brian Hennigan's going to come down here and he's going to finish it with Doug. And I think the 30th day is on the 19th. So tune in every day, everyone.
Yeah, I know it's been really fun. I mean, it's really tough when you do it daily because it's like, and Doug's been really good about not doing the whole. Did I already say that? Because it would have been miserable on a daily podcast.
I've changed it the way, like, I realized that people message me on Twitter. I never knew that. So I like one morning I spent 2 hours just answering people back specific questions about the podcast. And I also take production notes while I'm editing so that I can keep track of when we've talked about things, because we have a drink of the day. He has a song that he's got 30 songs from his basically his own warped playlist that we finish the podcast out with every night. And then he has word of the day. So we got stuff we got to keep track of, as well as, just the content of what he's been talking about every day. But you attack it a little bit differently when it's a daily thing. So
yeah, I predicted when he played Tim Curry, I predicted it right before. I was by myself in Costa Rica, sitting outside listening to it, and I go, "Tim Curry, do it!" And sure enough, Tim Curry came on. I'm like, "This is great!" But it's like winning the lottery when no one's around. It's like, all right.
But his songs are like so out there because he doesn't like music, so there's no real reason why he likes something. Not like a guy who like follows the Dead likes jam music. It's like Doug will throw in a Tim Curry and then fucking the Hold Steady. It just
right.
So it's really interesting. But these are things, Becker, you and we've heard these for years, because sooner or later his iPod gets plugged in somewhere. And we're all listening to it, and it's like, wow, what the fuck is that? It's like it's the Mountain Goats, No Children.
Yeah, no, and that's a great song.
Yeah,
and the thing that's funny about it is I'm down there in Costa Rica, so I said, "Oh, that's funny what he's doing, whatever." And I have an eclectic, similar to Doug, but a much bigger variety, even in mine. I mean, from old French church song singers in French to everything.
Yeah, because you like music. Doug hates music. And these are he only has the things that he has found that he loves, and he doesn't add to it.
So what I did with my classic iPod, I have 6,970 songs on it. I put it on shuffle with the entire catalog. And when the last 3 weeks in Costa Rica, that's all I'd play. And you weren't allowed to skip anything.
Yeah.
So I go right from some, Gypsy Kings to Louis Black to fucking My Milkshake Brings All the Boys to the Yard. I had people over at the house. They're like, "What is this?" I go, "We can't touch it. I understand." I'd explain the whole premise to them. And they go, "Okay." And they go, "Wow, that's really weird." And I go, "Yeah, I know. It is weird. When you listen to all the stuff you hoarded over all the years."
I'm mostly Taylor Swift nowadays. I stick to Taylor Swift.
Well, yeah, because you don't have Spotify. I get it.
Yeah. I play I just put it on YouTube, replay all day.
That's a sad existence. That's a Quentin.
No, it's great.
That's a Quentin.
Have you not heard Blank Space?
What's that?
Have you not heard Blank Space, Greg? I'm telling you, it's great.
Is that another song from Taylor Swift?
That's another song from Taylor Swift. At the start of her relationship, everything's perfect, but you don't know she's crazy. But she'll show you.
I'll tell you what's crazy. I just saw a YouTube clip of her where one of her handlers, her bodyguard or something, is keeping the paparazzi at bay as she's backing up And the way it's written about on Gawker was that she's like backing up like a big utility truck going deet 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 as this person is kind of pushing the paparazzi back. She's slowly shuffling her feet, walking backwards to get out of a parking garage. That's your idol, dude.
Wait, I'm confused. Like so
she doesn't want to turn around and look at the paparazzi. I don't even know why I'm talking about this. It's ridiculous. It's why didn't she just get a tube and slide down into the passenger seat of the town car?
I don't know. You should pitch that idea.
Maybe you know what? That's celebrity tubes, man.
Celebrity tubes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Now we're cooking. You go right into the window of the town car, and you could do a little compression at the end so it slows down enough. Oh, and then we do a side business of a shield mask so that the makeup won't get smeared.
This sounds like an Elon Musk idea. It's
yes.
Gotta be.
This is. I mean, I don't know about the car, but I definitely know about the battery.
Well, then you would come up with different adapters. So if you're going to go into your Humvee, a Hummer, you'd have to buy the adapter for the celebrity tube. And
yeah, you could be like, I use the same tube as fucking Nipsey Russell or any celebrity that you can afford, you know.
Even someone as big as Nipsey Russell, huh?
Yeah, I love that guy.
So what's I don't know what's step 2 here? We just call China and get these made, or
you know, I got to do a couple just some napkin drawings.
I've been watching Shark Tank, and I'll tell you what. That is a fun show to watch just to see. I mean, you take about there's 5 people or 4 or whatever they are, 5 I think maybe, but
there's 5.
They all made their money in different ways, whatever. But it was all this opera. It was lottery tickets. I mean, even Mark Cuban. I mean, great guy, but he made his money by basically the first guy to take all the public band radios and put them together. And then he sold that.
Well, he made all his money by selling his website right before the .com crash.
Right.
The thing about Mark Cuban, though, just really quickly, is he's the only billionaire on the on set there. Those other guys are millionaires.
Like the one lady, the one lady's a Manhattan real estate mogul. I go, well, let's see what she sold 3 properties. I mean,
so you're telling me the guy who invented FUBU is not a billionaire?
Not a billionaire, no.
Huh.
What's his name?
I just saw it, yeah. But the thing is,
in fact, I bought one of the products that he threw money behind on Shark Tank. I bought the Mission Belt. It's a ratchet belt. That's fucking genius. And I'm looking at this thing as this guy's explaining it, and I'm going, that's fucking awesome. That's awesome. And he, the FUBU guy, he does clothing really well, and he does online marketing of clothing really well. And he snapped this thing up, and it's fucking awesome. Have you guys you looked into it? Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't seen that.
I don't watch the show.
It's a belt that doesn't have holes that you pull it tighter when you've lost weight, and you let it out to another hole, or you have to make a hole, right? Well, this is a ratchet that is a quick release. It's one hand release, but it's a ratchet, so there's no holes in the belt. It's fucking brilliant.
Didn't that already exist with the?
No, they use
strap?
it. No, this actually has a like a what's it called? The only way I can think of it is like a ratchet, because there's the belt rolls over something that won't let it slip back.
That was the old belt that they sold us when we were kids. The little I just used it in Costa Rica. It's like the cloth belt.
Yeah, that's the old Cub Scout belt had that. It's cloth.
Yeah, what did he invent?
Well,
what did he invent again?
This is different. That uses compression. There's a small metal dowel that you pull towards the to one end, and that buckle it presses it against the buckle, and that keeps it tight, but not always tight. This is a ratchet. It works really good.
I don't think it's going to replace the the piece of paracord I have holding on my sweatpants, but
yeah, I don't understand what he doesn't understand about a bungee cord.
Sounds neat though. I'll look it up.
Mission Belt, they're great.
You bought one.
I've bought several.
You love it.
I love it. We're
But
in it now.
the great thing is every time they bring on one of these tearjerker ones, the one guy was trying, I forget what his product was, some whatever. But he goes, I want to make it in America. And they go, so to make your price point, you wouldn't make it in China? And the guy goes, well, no, I want to support my town in Spartan, Alabama, or where the hell he was at. And they go, well, then no, I won't invest with you because you don't understand the global market. I go, I understand we need to bring in tariffs again. I listened to 5 guys sit around and go, stop making stuff in America. We need a belt that can expand because we're all fat asses. But we need to make it in China.
Well, I know the episode you're talking about because 2 or 3 of the people like walked off set because of what 2 of the sharks did. Because they put money behind the guy even though he said something as ridiculous as that. Said, well, yeah, I want to do this, but it has to be done this way. And they're like, well, you won't make your price point or whatever the reason was. And the 2 people put money behind.
What's that noise?
What's that?
What was that noise?
It's my alarm.
Okay. It was funny on our end.
Anyway, yeah, I know that episode because that was a big problem because, well, you know what? Now that I think of it, that was just them talking about the new season. Trying to create something that would go on YouTube or on Yahoo News or something.
Yeah, but it's just crazy to me when you're sitting there going, why are you mad dog? All these companies keep mad dogging the American market. We're the only people still consuming.
Yeah.
Europe isn't consuming. Italy isn't buying anything. They're selling. I mean, this is almost like It's a Wonderful Life. Well, I'm buying because you're selling. But the thing is I go, we just need to stop with the foreign-made products and just shut our borders down and go with China. If you can feed 1.3 billion without us, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
But the idea Apple is somehow an offshore company,
Scotland.
when everywhere you look has an Apple product sitting in it. How is it not made in the U.S.? They go, well, it's not made here, so there's offshore. Close that loophole.
Yeah.
Enough. I don't care if everyone has a gun, but close the loophole of you're an offshore company if you only sell your product in the United States.
Mission belt made in America.
See? It is like the iPhone of belts.
I'm telling you guys, change your life. Well, no, not really.
I agree.
Yeah.
It'll change what belt you wear.
I go between 1 and 2 holes a year, so I don't know. I don't think I have a big problem with belts not fitting.
I've been on the same hole for a while.
Then you're not trying hard enough, John.
Yeah.
He's going to Vegas. We'll see what happens.
See, you're going to need that belt, the mission belt in Vegas.
Lots of holes to experience.
Wait till he doubles down on all-you-can-eat buffet. See how that turns out.
Yeah, that's what they should call this, the buffet belt.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, let's wrap this up. That was the alarm for wrapping it up.
Oh, good.
Oh,
He's
wrap it up.
He's got to wrap it up.
It's not even like the Oscars that you play us off nicely with some music.
Yeah.
It's just,
No, you guys are handling the music today, so let's hear a little bit.
Good, John. Tell him what you're going to do tomorrow.
Well, as Matt Becker plays us out of this episode,
I think we're going to commercial, John.
I want to remind everybody, find us on Twitter. I'm at jnorris123.
Houdini357 at Twitter.
And I'm at Greg Chaille, GregChaille.
Guys, what a great episode this has been. I had a great time. It's nice to have Matt Becker back in Alaska.
Yes, it's good to be back. It really is.
So I guess from beautiful, wonderful, warm Anchorage, Alaska, I'm John Norris.
I'm Matt Becker.
And from blustery Bisbee, Arizona, this is Greg Chaille. You've been listening to the Near the Wild podcast with Matt Becker and John Norris, recorded in Anchorage, Alaska on Matt Becker's Backyard Bus. Engineered by me, Greg Chaille.